Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to another review here on Pez of the Mind.
Not a review, just a list.
Well, yeah, technically. This is the final countdown, where we count down the top 5 of whatever the hell I feel like counting down that month. And this month, I finally caved in and I let Mole have it, being that this is the month of Easter. This is the top 5. And since it's the month of heroes, and it does happen heroes quite a bit, it made sense. The top 5 hero resurrections.
Yeah. I like this topic because it works. It does work. We're not taking the mickey out of Jeebus or whatever he's called.
Taking a mickey out of... Wow, that's British.
Oh, no. You found me out. I thought I hid it so well.
Anyway. Yeah, so this will be top 5 hero resurrections from comics, movies, TV, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about those.
Right.
We
So
had
pretty-
some limitations, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through all of them.
No. So, per usual, we're going to go by my screen. We'll start with Pew. Go Pew, Mole, me, so that it ends back on me and I can take us to the outro. So,
All right.
by the way, I should probably introduce. With me are Anastasia Lazerbeam and Chriz the Mole.
Hello.
Hi.
You have to excuse Stacey. As you can see, she's jerking something off with her right hand there.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to eat my cat and not turn off my monitor again. And I was like, are we starting now officially?
Yeah, it's just because we haven't seen him for a while, so I say hi to Richter.
Ha!
Stay a hand gamer, Richter Hammer.
Oh, there you go. Nice. All right, so Stacey, you're number 5 whenever you're ready.
All right, just move my water so my cat can't drink it. All right. So All right. So this is Daniel Jackson from SG-1, Stargate.
Ah.
He dies quite a few times, but he doesn't even start coming back because unlike other people, it is kind of more or less explained because he underwent this ritual that he had to find these like ancients and do this whole like ceremony to prove that he's like a higher being of human and everything. So ever since he did that one ritual, every time he dies, he comes back. Over the longest time, he came back as an ancient, not as a human. But then they let him have it as a human again. So that's Daniel Jackson. Sorry.
Cool.
See my face?
I was like, yeah, let's move it that way, so you can't like really see your face there.
We got it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see Jim's face.
Ah.
Like gross.
It's
You
even
don't want to see that
worse.
more than once.
Let's go over to Mole for number 5.
Alexander James Murphy.
Who is that?
RoboCop. This is the one that was technically cheating because he was still a hero because he was a cop, and how
True.
dare you to say otherwise? But he was shot multiple fucking times, an overkill amount of times. Then he died, and they resurrected him kind of with cybernetics as RoboCop.
Woo!
I like RoboCop, and he's an iconic character in himself. But he's one of those characters, which is why he's on my list, where the fact he was resurrected is what's made him iconic.
Yeah.
Some other characters, which we'll get to later, their resurrectiveness, if that's a word, isn't what made them iconic. They're just iconic and happen to be resurrected.
Okay. Indeed. So, next up. I'm going to go with this one here. I couldn't find an actual picture of this from the movie. So, I'm using this picture because it is at least from the movie. It's not a picture of the right scene, though. I should flip it over to me so you can see me. There we go. And let's see there. I turned on the brightness on this. Hang on. So it's Billy from the MMP, the Power Rangers movie from last year.
Boo!
Yeah, I know. A lot of people didn't like that movie. I know. I get it.
Should have stayed dead. No, I'm just joking. That's just you.
Yeah, you should have stayed dead. So all the trailers advertising it showed all that footage of him when
There we
he
go, a
wasn't
little
dead. Would have been lies.
Yeah. There you go. This is him. He's wearing the hard hat. This is him in the construction site. But yeah, this. I thought it was well done that they really went out of their way to establish Billy as the character that a lot of people would relate to as a character who even if I know there's been some debate. I know there's been some debate about whether his depiction of autism was accurate or not. I'm not sure. I'm not going to go into that. But I think
I
they
know,
did make.
I know it wasn't, but I also know people don't relate to him. That's the kind of the point of him, is that people don't relate to him.
Well, the audience, not the characters.
I mean, even the audience don't relate to him that well.
Well,
that's his point.
Okay, the audience empathized with him then. Yeah, he was the character the audience liked, if you want to put it that way.
No, I didn't like anybody.
Well, that's you. Nobody likes you either, so that's how that works.
No, I'm saying I can tell you a large amount of people didn't like any of them.
Well, that's fair enough. A lot of people didn't like the movie. I know that, but I'm just saying that of the.
No, he's right about the empathy for the character.
Yeah, people. Yeah, if people sympathy empathized with the character and thought that he was an enjoyable character, they got that. He's trying to be friends with Jason because he never really had friends. He misses his dad. They did a lot to make that character somebody that people would have a connection with. And then, of course, near the end, they went out of the way to actually have Rita kill a ranger, which, well, I don't think anybody really expected him to stay dead. I think the fact that they even killed him in the first place was kind of a surprise to a lot of people, and it really drew a lot of emotion out of the audience, say, oh my God, they killed the character that everybody, the character that people have really connected with the most. And when they, the other Rangers are carrying his body, you start to think, wait, he really is dead. Oh my God, what are they going to do here? And then to have it, obviously, they were going to resurrect him, but not only to have him resurrected, but to do it in such a way where Zordon, whose entire plotline up to this point has been, I'm trying to get back to my body because, I feel like I need to be the one out there that's leading the fight against Rita, and sacrificing his one chance at a resurrection in a physical body so that Billy could come back was kind of a big emotional moment that allowed for the big, they feeling that I got Billy's back. That really showed how united they were as a team and made Zordon realize, yeah, they are united as a team more than even my team was. My time is over. They need to do this now. And I thought it was just really well done in terms of how they brought that character back and really brought that emotion out and made it a meaningful moment. I thought that was very good.
It was, right? I will just say for the record, any audience member out there that was shocked and thought he might not come back to life and was emotionally about it, idiots.
Fair.
I literally seen that with a load of kids, and their first response was, he'll be fine.
And
I said, why? He's in the trailer. Every single trailer had him as the Blue Ranger fighting and in the Zords and stuff. That hadn't come up yet.
True.
It's sort of like if you're watching like a superhero film where you're like, oh, okay, they've shown me in the trailer this character. They've not shown up yet. They'll be here later.
Indeed. So, let's move back over to Stacey for number 4.
All right. So my number 4 was Sherlock. From Sherlock BC. Yeah. So I liked his coming back and everything. I like how it was planned, and it had social elements to it. Like all his friends were involved except for Watson, and he got super pissed that he wasn't involved, and he was the only one that didn't know. And it was this whole thing, and I liked how it made a whole bunch of people in a social groups made a bunch of weird gay fan theories about how he came back, and that was really funny. I also enjoyed that. So, yeah, it just had everything I ever wanted, and all in one, wrapped up in one.
I can see that. That is really well written, the Sherlock show, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. So, Sherlock.
That is a good one. I did not think of that.
Yep. There's lots of things that you haven't seen.
Or thought of.
By not reading comics. His exact quote.
It's true. I haven't watched Sherlock in a long time. I need to watch season 4. I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, that's great. That's the one where they go into space.
Sherlock in space. Oh, number 4.
Number 4, speaking of space, and speaking of kids' movies with actual emotion.
Huh?
E.T.
Woo!
Extraterrestrial. He dies in the movie. They take him back to his ship. He gets resurrected, comes out with the white cloak and stuff, and you see his heart. It's awesome. That is a great fucking movie. It's iconic, and it's just wonderful. E.T.
If you like it, check out the game.
You can.
Indeed.
Also on the Universal Studios game on GameCube.
That's right, it is.
but don't bother with that. But yeah, E.T.
Enjoy spending 3 hours picking up garbage just so you can play it.
Yep. Which is pretty much how you bought it in the first place.
Yeah.
When you went around the store looking for garbage. But yeah, that was E.T. the extraterrestrial.
Nice. I have not seen that movie since I was a kid.
So last week.
Oh. I see what you did there.
Yeah, I implied he was his kid.
You did. All right. My number.
I prove us wrong now with this choice. I have.
Funny, aren't you hilarious? My number 4, I don't have a picture for, but I will just put it in there because I was only gonna put one Power Rangers thing on this list, but I ended up deciding to use more than one. And the second one was Kendrick's in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy back 2000-ish. What did that say?
Is this ha ha ha? What a story,
a story, Mark. Ah, it's what's so nice. Don't forget, both the movie and Book of the Disaster Artist currently available.
Yeah.
Blu-ray.
Yes, nice. Anyway, yeah. So of course, Kendrick's death became a necessity due to real-life events during the filming of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy back in 2000 or no, it was before. It was 99. Hang on. Time Force was 2001. So Lightspeed. So 99 then. And so, unfortunately, actress Valerie Vernon, who played Kendricks, was diagnosed with leukemia partway through the season, and so had to be written off very abruptly. And so they wrote in the concept of Kendrick sacrificing herself to allow the other Rangers to defeat the Pink Psycho Ranger, who had gained immense power through a alien sword that she got a hold of. But it was really abrupt because it's really the only time in the Power Rangers television series where a Ranger has died like that, like straight up died. None have ever died and not come back, but this was the first time that there was ever a death, like anything remotely close to a death like this, and it was a very big deal. And, well, they really didn't do a whole lot with it. I think it really did add to the emotion when in the finale she did come back, even though they didn't really explain how.
That's not true. What about Turbo, which gave us the death of a franchise?
That's true. That is true. Well, near death. They put it on life support, but space saved it.
Arguably saved it. It still led to the inevitable Power Ranger movie we had last year.
True. Anyway.
So bad the movie this is based upon is actually better.
Ouch. That's harsh. Anyway, so we got to the end of the episode, at the end of the season, rather, in the finale. And the Rangers' entire task for the whole thing had been being on a space station trying to find a new home for humans to inhabit, in addition to Earth. And, of course, they ended up finding the planet Miranoi, which is where they got their powers from via a portal, where they ended up going through it temporarily. And so the fact that they ended up on Miranoi, which is where the Yellow Ranger Maya had come from, the fact they were able to save the people on her planet who had been turned to stone by one of the villains, and the fact that on top of all that, saving the day, beating the villain, saving her planet, finding a new home, that there's just a flash of pink light, and Kendricks walks out just this big grin, just like, I knew you'd find your way here. It was just like the cherry on top of the this is a good finale cake. And I thought that was a really good way that she was able to come back and be with them and made it to the end of the journey, despite what had happened with the real life events that got in the way early on. So I thought Kendrick's resurrection, even if not explained, was still a very well done moment in terms of the emotion it brought and the fact that it was able to, it was well done. And that's all I got to say about that.
That's you believe that.
I do, and that's what matters.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was on my point.
Yeah, okay. Stacey, number 3.
All right, so my number 3 is someone from Legends of Tomorrow. I think you'll appreciate her. Sarah Lance.
Technically, wasn't it Arrow?
I mean, technically, yeah, but she's the captain of Legend of Tomorrow.
Yes, but her death and resurrection was an Arrow.
Yes, it was. So Yeah, and also I like how when people die and they get resurrected through the Lazarus pit, they have their whole like hunger thing they need to deal with and like kill people, and you have to find their own way to deal with it. Like Sarah's way to deal with it was different than oh shit,
Fears.
what's Thea's way to deal with it. So I like her and she's really cool and she's like pretty much come back as a full on like person. She's not just hanging around and like lingering or anything. She's straight up captain of Legends, and it's awesome. So. Sarah Lance.
Nice.
Nice. All right, Mole.
This one, number 3, it's on my list. It's higher up than it should be, probably just because of its sheer iconicness. It's not well written.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll just say if that part's not well written. The Reign of Superman, in which the Superman returns from the dead. Only because that's become a staple of what people expect of comic book deaths since they've all become, it's going to be the death of Superman all over again. And the death and return of Superman in that was, I don't think it was that well written, but it was, the return wasn't. His death was done great, but I feel like it's just sheer iconicness that makes it deserve a place on the list.
Alright.
You can't find a single person who came from above that's more iconic and resurrected wise than Superman. Except maybe Goku. But I'll go with Superman.
Yeah.
Only because Goku's been resurrected way too many times.
Superman.
Only because it's this thing of his universe of Dragon Balls. You can make a wish and bring people back.
Yep.
Even this guy got to do it.
Ah, yes.
Over to Jim.
Alrighty, over to me. I actually just came up with one. I'm going to make an on-the-spot amendment of my list because I just remembered one.
You've remembered one that at the last minute suddenly happened to be both better than 5 and 4, but worse than 2 and 1. What are the odds?
I remembered it sooner. I would have used it instead of Kendrick's.
Unless, of course, you're saying the whole list format it doesn't work. You just make it up as you go. Therefore, it's not from worst to best.
And as I said, I would have replaced Kendrick's with it if I had remembered it, but I didn't remember it until after I read that one. So I'm going to go with this one instead. This one's, I don't know if you could call it cheating per se, but I think it works.
No, the King's Horses and Men did not put Humpty Dumpty together. That's
no,
kind of the point.
Unfortunately, they did not. But no, it's actually a really good one. I have a book series up there that I've mentioned in our videos before. It's called Steelheart.
Oh, I forgot those were going to be Kingdom Keepers.
No, it wasn't Kingdom Keepers. No. Because the only resurrection there was...
Steelheart, I've at least not heard you mention it enough to get bored shitless of it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. The only resurrection of Kingdom Keepers was Maleficent, and honestly, that wasn't that well done. So,
and she's a villain.
That too. Anyway, yeah. So, in the course of it's a trilogy: Steelheart, Firefight, and Calamity, and I'm going to reference an event from the second book, Firefight.
Also, in Kingdom Keepers, didn't the inventor die, and then it turns out he did something else, and then that's how they got him back due to the messing in the past, or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, they did some weird thing where they brought his past self to the future, and he aged up as a hologram, and then they brought him back as a person. Yeah. It was really weird and clearly shoehorned in.
So technically, he was resurrected. Not that I need to correct you on the books you yourself have read.
No, of course not. It just technically came from the past. He was never really dead. They just brought his past self back to make him an old man again, which was weird. So he technically wasn't dead, but yeah.
Boom, it helped.
It did help. Anyway.
Okay, Steelheart, what happened?
There. Yes, thank you. So in Firefight, the second book, there's a character. What?
I was going to explain for people that are wondering about Steelheart. It is a spin-off from the Wizard of Oz after Tin Man had his heart. Thus, the name Steelheart.
No, it's not. Not even close. No.
Spin-off. Fact.
No. Brief summary: trilogy of books about a world in which random people gained superpowers, but anybody who gained superpowers inherently turned evil for reasons unknown. The more powerful they were, the more evil they were. And the main characters were a group of ordinary humans who did not have powers that were basically trying to right the world by stopping the powerful evil people.
It's pretty obvious why they would have turned evil. People are dicks.
But that's true. Anyway.
Like if you gave 20 people on the street superpowers, I guarantee you at least 9 to 15 of them would kill people.
Mm-hmm. Anywho, so there is the second book is called Firefight, and it's the character Firefight that I'm referring to, the titular character in that one. And Firefight, the character's real name is Megan, and she started off as a villain in the first book, but she kind of, especially in the second book, started coming over to the side of the heroes a little bit, because the main character started realizing that, hey, it's the usage of the powers that's making these people evil dicks, or more evil dicks than they would be naturally anyway. And so Megan is his love interest over the course of the books, and he finally realized, hey, if I could talk her into not using her powers for an extended period, she starts becoming more normal again and less crazy evil. And so he spends most of the trilogy trying to find a way to fix that and make people not evil when they have powers. But anyway, one of her powers is that she basically can't die. Whenever she dies, she comes back to life a short time later. Resurrection is her power. Hence why this is kind of cheating, because she does it constantly. But there's one specific resurrection I'm referring to here.
The one where she resurrects and turns evil.
No.
When you said that, you know what I'm thinking of, Pew?
What?
Not sure if you've seen it, the TV show Misfits.
Mm-hmm.
Save me, Barry! Because he dies, and then he finally finds out he did have powers the whole time, and it's resurrection. As he wakes up in his grave, he's like, you buried me alive? You fuckers! Which is brilliant, because he spent the whole season trying to get powers when everyone else got them. He didn't, and he died at the end of season 1. And then got resurrected right at the end credits. You're like, oh my god, that's fucking hilarious.
Ah, that's nice. I should check that out. Anyway, so it's explained that whenever she dies, she resurrects, but when she resurrects, she has short-term memory loss. It doesn't remember the events immediately leading up to her death, which is why in some instances she had left herself like a recording to remind herself what the hell was going on. But regardless, in the second book, the primary villain has water powers, and she is ruling what's left of New York City, which they call New Babylon. And they build up this big moment where the main character, David, is about to be killed by the bad guys. And Megan had died earlier on, and we know Megan always resurrects, but she had been killed off earlier on. Her ironically, contrary to her name, her weakness is actually fire, and so she ended up dying in a fire. They called her Firefight because her, long story short, she was using her powers to project an image of a fire manipulator. People thought she was that, but she wasn't. Her power was actually more of an image projection deal. But long story short, David is about to get killed. Everything seems like it's doomed. Huh?
Sorry, every time you've been saying long story short, I just keep saying too late.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
All right, so David dies, or Megan dies to protect David. Good story.
No, I mean,
she dies to protect David. She comes back to life. She goes, "Oh my god, do you want to know how I did this?" And they all go, "Shut up, Meg." The end.
No. David's one of his arcs is whether or not he believes in the concept of the good heroes. They actually do this shtick where, without referencing it to avoid copyright, they're the logo of the faithful who believe that there could be good super people is actually a Superman logo that they wear on a necklace, but they don't explicitly say it's that, so they don't get sued by DC. But it's true. But they come to this moment where he's like about to die, and he's finally, over the course of the first 2 books, finally come to the realization that, no, I believe there are good heroes. I believe it is possible. As he's about to get murdered by one of the supers who's actually the former leader of their group who turned evil and turned out to have powers. Spoilers.
Oh no.
And he's about to be crushed to death inside a force field bubble. And he's on like literally on his knees and naked, mind you, because his clothes have been ripped off for reasons unknown. And
okay.
I mean, not totally naked, but he only has like a jacket on. and he's holding up.
All white Jim's into this.
No, and he's holding up the symbol. And he's about to be crushed in this like force bubble. And he's like, "No, I do believe there are good heroes. I do believe in the possibility of good heroes. Like my father before me, who was one of the ones who started this. I do believe in the power." And he's like, finally reaches power, believes he's about to die, and then there's this like explosion of light, which is how Megan returns, and Megan just resurrects right in front of him like the goddamn phoenix. Like to save the day, and it's this amazing badass moment. And
the goddamn Phoenix. That's what I've been thinking throughout this whole time.
I know you have, haven't you? But it's just because it's the first time she's resurrected because she died sacrificing herself to save David in a good way. It's the first time she's ever resurrected where one, she wasn't a little evil out of it when she came back, and two, she has her memories, and that's never happened before. So it's basically her resurrection for the first time as a hero instead of a villain. And so she resurrects as a hero and is able to use her powers to fight off the bad guy that's trying to kill David, and they have this epic fight. And it's just this amazingly badass moment that starts with her resurrection in the middle of everything, and it's really cool.
Does that make her more evil to use her powers to fight the evil person?
A little bit, but it's, I guess.
Okay, just pretend I didn't answer, and we'll discuss it
long
later.
story short. It doesn't. There's a reason, but I'm not going to go into it.
Okay, I don't care.
That's all we need to know. Yeah, there's a reason that it works.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going to go with that.
Oh, jeez Christ.
Number 2, Stacy. Oh no, wait, that was 2, wasn't it? Or was that 3? No, that was 2. Stacy. That was
okay. No,
that was 2.
No, that was 3. I haven't said 2 yet.
Yeah, this
right.
will be my number
2.
2.
Okay, 2 then go.
Okay, number 2, and this is why I asked Mo if I can use a video game character, because freaking Commander Shepard.
Oh, Femme Shepard's not canon.
Oh.
Commander Shepard's not canon. Fuck off.
Kidding, I used a Femme Shepard.
Could run like, but you'll be never as good as Commander Shepard. It's fun. Yeah, but like I just fucking like her resurrection leads to the fucking best game in the Mass Effect series, and it just fucking like everything comes from that. It's an amazing goddamn game, and her coming back dealing with that shit, and you know.
I do love the second one the most.
It's amazing, and like how you can like everything you can do makes sense. What?
Nothing. Behind you, Fuji just jumped on the cat tree and damn near knocked it over.
Oh, I'm glad that my cat didn't die.
That makes one of us.
All right, so yeah, I love it, and I love how like because of the whole resurrection, you get the DLC with the clone and shit, and you know all that stuff.
Yep.
So it's just amazing things come from it. It's awesome.
Cool.
Commander Shepard, and I chose female Shepard because that's the one that I went with. Because there's no good gay options. Otherwise, I would have chosen male Shepard.
So you settled for the lesbian option. Fair enough.
I settled for the hottest person, male or female, in the games.
That's not true. Because if you were Femme Shep, you can't go shipped with Miranda, unfortunately.
Oh.
I mean, I kind of wanted Tally, so that's the only reason I'd ever go male Shep.
This ain't the hottest person. She's literally hidden behind a mask the entire game.
She got a guy's body and a nice ass.
Yeah, but she could go take off the mask. It could be Jim. Going, I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all.
I'll see in that case and then bleed my own eyes out. But, like, yeah. Like, Tally's probably the best. But also, if it wasn't Tally, it'd be Garrus. I'm a big Garrus fan.
Okay. Mole, Tim.
This next one has similarities to what Jim picked for his number 3, kind of. It's someone that started evil and eventually turned good.
Okay.
I'm going to make it shorter, though. And I will say, technically, they weren't dead.
Okay.
But technically, they also did die.
Ah.
Because that's how you become a vampire. So either one would count for him. But I'm not counting the one where he died and became a vampire. I'm counting the one where he was technically dead, but it was turned out they were actually stuck in the past in like a prison that was created for someone else, and they were constantly on a loop, day in and day out. And as far as the rest of the world was aware, they had died. Like his brother mourned him, his girlfriend mourned him, and wrote books and letters and stuff about how much she hoped how much pain she was in because he was there. And you got the big reunion when he comes back, and yay, Damon.
Woo!
That's really cool, but given that that's a non-technical death, but everybody thought he was dead, I feel ripped that I wasn't allowed to use Batman now.
Actually, that's why I mentioned that, because you literally said, and I said, you can use Batman as long as you mention because the rest of the world thought he was dead and the world acted like he was dead, it would still count.
Oh, I don't remember. I thought you told me I couldn't use that. Fair enough.
No, I said as long as you mentioned that.
Oh, okay, my
As long
bad.
as you don't say he was actually resurrected. And I was like, yeah, because technically he was like that. But also, I will also say he did die to become a vampire, so it's
That's true. So he's got a double.
Yeah, because he got shot by his own. They got killed by their own parents.
That kind of
Well,
sucks.
like their dad, kind of, because they were trying to harvest. They were trying to look after a vampire that they loved. Then when they died, it turned out they had vampire blood in them. Then his brother makes him drink, so he becomes a vampire, and yeah, it's a whole vampire thing. But yeah, Damon, God, I miss that show so much. So
Fair
happy with the second spin-off.
Cool.
Woo.
All right, moving me on. Number 2.
Spin-off, Pew. Second spin-off. It's getting a spin-off off the spin-off.
Oh my.
Jim's number 2.
Yeah, then again, sometimes spin-offs of the spin-offs work. You never know.
I'm just
Anyway.
gonna rest my eyes for the next 30 minutes while Jim does what he says.
No, this one is shorter. That one just came from a book, which is why I had to explain everything. Most of these other ones. Well, I did anyway.
What is it?
Yeah, my number 2. I really like this one when I first read this. This
It's
is
gonna be Brian Griffin from Family Guy.
no, it's really right. It's the resurrection of Wally West from the Speed Force in Flashpoint. I think it was Flashpoint.
Yay!
Was it Flashpoint Mole? I can't remember.
It might be. But
speaking
speaking of Flashpoint, quickly, have you watched the animated movie Flashpoint, Jim?
I have not. I need to watch that.
Watch that movie, as I said to Pew, and watch this.
Wait, did I watch Flashpoint? I might have watched it. I don't remember. I have to double check. Anyway.
Watch it and then watch this. It's fucking brilliant.
Cool.
But something in this ties to that, where they've technically linked Flashpoint to the universe where people kept demanding Flashpoint actually be included. And like, fine. Flashpoint started this universe there.
There you go. Anyway, yeah, this is the I believe this was in the Flashpoint universe, or at least it was something following the Flashpoint universe. I don't exactly remember, but it was a really good arc where Wally West was thought to be dead because Flashpoint had, or it was Rebirth. That's what it was. It was Rebirth. It was the thing that ended Flashpoint, right?
Well, Pew, you watched Flash, don't you?
Yeah.
And you watched Legends of Tomorrow. That can't be Wally West. That was a white guy he was hugging.
Ha!
Yeah, he didn't have a man bun either.
True. But anyway, yeah, and I remember now it was Rebirth because the concept was that when Flashpoint rebooted the universe, Wally West was didn't exist anymore, or there was a new Wally West, one of the two. I don't remember which, but I think it was Wally West.
Waldo West with the ability to blend in all his surroundings.
No. But Wally West, as he was, didn't cease to exist. Part of saving and connecting the universe was him ending up trapped in the Speed Force, and it was believed by everybody that his, everybody in the world forgot that he existed, and the audience believed that his consciousness had just become one with the Speed Force and that he was dead.
Oh, I actually read that.
And in this arc, it turned out that Wally was actually alive, and he ended up because the universe that had been created was being threatened from exterior forces. Wally was trying to remind everyone of the world that was, so that they could remember what had happened and stop the universe from being destroyed. And he tried talking to all these people to get people to remember him, but nobody remembered him.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried and he couldn't get through to people. He tried Batman, and Batman didn't know who the hell he was and all this other stuff. And he just couldn't get through to get people to understand. And he finally had given up, and he was in the process of dissipating into Speed Force, about to be gone forever. And the last person he went to was, of course, Barry. And there's a point where, like, he's telling Barry, like, Barry, I know you don't remember me, but I just want you to know how much you meant to me. And he gives this emotional, heartfelt speech as he's dissipating, and there's almost nothing left but a hand. And then in this last panel, you see a tear in Barry's eye, and his hand grabs Wally's hand and pulls him out. And in the next panel, he embraces him in this hug, and he goes, "How could I ever?" And he says at the double there, "How could I ever forget you?" And they have this emotional reunion.
And then they kiss.
No. Which is what allows Wally to be resurrected and help.
And he uses that hand for him.
Yes. And then it allows him to help save the universe from the exterior forces that are attacking it, which eventually leads to the universe that was set up in Flashpoint becoming the Rebirth universe, if I recall correctly.
Not really.
Okay.
Because what they've done with Rebirth is it's still New 52 going forward, but it's bleeded in loads of pre-Flashpoint stuff too, so they can take and choose the best of all of them and mix them together.
Then it might not be Rebirth. It might be when they went from the Flashpoint to the New 52 universe. I don't remember.
I believe it's New 52, because I read that one, and I don't understand Rebirth.
Okay,
yeah,
then
which New 52 is the one the Flashpoint created at the end, but not the one Flashpoint was set in.
Right. Okay, that's fair enough then. I just couldn't remember. That's fair enough then. I just couldn't remember for the life of me which that was. I remember it was a really good book, but I couldn't remember. And I knew it was an event where.
Oh my god, you've been corrected now on 2 books.
I know. It's terrible.
Just go put the gun in your mouth now and just do an unboxing.
Yeah.
All right. So number 1.
Okay, let's go number 1. Stacy, bring it home.
All right. My number 1 was Buffy season 5, where she comes back and nobody expected it until it did, because it was supposed to be like the show wasn't going to be canceled, or not canceled, or ended, but then like they had season 5 and then she came back, and obviously can't have the show without her, so she had to come back.
When that happened, they already announced a new series, but people were like, how the fuck are you going to do this without her? Mm-hmm. Then when the series began at the beginning and they're using Buffy Bot, you're like, oh, that's so cheap. You're going to be using Buffy Bot for the whole season, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. All right, so one of the things I love, one of my favorite things, is her coming back, inspired, or is part of like the Once More with Feeling, song, about how she talks about how she's about to like, I'm back, but I feel wrong, and I kind of wish I was dead still because it was a nice place, and fuck you guys for bringing me back, and
I believe the exact words were, I think I was in heaven.
Yeah, and now you're back in the shithole. No. But yeah.
Mole number 1.
My number 1 was Buffy Summers. She's falling out of her grave. And it's funny because she came back wrong.
Yeah.
And that is a TV tropes term. She come back wrong. However, it was named after this. Because what happened was, the reason Ray started to realize she came back wrong is she came back funny and she wasn't feeling quite right because it turned out she'd come from heaven. But during it, at one point, Spike smacks her in the face because they had a slightly abusive relationship at that point where they kept hitting each other while having sex. But every time Spike would hit her, he always got a headache. And you see him hit her, and then nothing happens, and he just goes... and then when she looks at me, he's like, and he suddenly figures out, wait, I can hurt her now. But when he says to her afterwards, eventually when he has enough, he just punches her. He's like, don't you get it? You've come back wrong. I thought it might just be my chip at deactivated, but nope, it went mental when I tried to attack someone. It's just you've come back wrong. And it's great because you don't normally see the side effects of the resurrections. Usually they just get resurrected and that's it. But as Spike also pointed out there, when you saw her there, Jim, she literally wakes up inside her own coffin and has to claw her way out. That's why she gets like bloody knuckles and stuff from digging her way out of her grave. Comes back completely like broken and slightly different and has to get over it. It's cool.
It's got like major case of depression.
Yep. It's cool how they did that. I like that. So
you buried me alive, you son of a bitch.
Yep. So now we have 2 number 1s of Buffy, which means we know what the number 1 is officially now by consensus. We don't need Jim. So thank you for watching the final countdown. I was your host, Chriz, aka the Mole. Joined by my co-host, Anastasia Lazerbeam, and our special guest, James Phoenix. Peace. We're still live. I don't know why.
All right.
Had I ever watched Buffy, it would probably also be my number 1, but I have never watched that show.
If you ever watched Buffy, you'd find Power Rangers completely not good anymore.
Fair enough.
Is it on Netflix? Like, I think like the first 2 seasons?
I think
not
it is.
all of it. Not all of it, though. I think after like season 5 or something they stopped.
Oh, I thought all of it was on there at one point.
I mean, maybe
Alright,
all of it.
yours.
All I know is when I was in college, like 8 years ago, they only had half of it.
See, people? That's the American college system right there.
Yep. Well, Ferris, you went to college for sociology, the most useless degree ever. What do you expect?
Hey, people go for
That's right.
philosophy, so that's like argue that's even more
Yeah,
useless.
that's not true. There's also like art degrees and library skills.
Ha!
Or
Anyway,
learning.
what's your
Yeah.
number one?
So learning Klingon is useless.
That's fair. Anyway, so yeah, for my number one here, I think this is the actual shot from the comic. I don't know why, I'm not positive. But it just reminds me of one of the best resurrections I've ever seen, and I'm not even sure the individual circumstances of death. I don't even know. But one of the best resurrections I've ever seen, if you can see the detail here. The resurrection of like 12 fucking people at the end of Blackest Night.
Mass resurrection.
Mass resurrection. God, the Blackest Night's a great freaking comic.
Yeah, each one would have had a different death.
Yeah, that's why I say I don't know their individual circumstances of death, and I don't care.
You should, because that makes you care about the characters and why they were back. It's kind of important.
True.
Blackest Night would have been building based on these years of continuity that were for the fans. But
Right.
No, that's cool. Who the fuck's this guy?
Nah. No, but I'm gonna say it's a lot of important characters. I mean, Aquaman, the Hawkman and Hawkwoman, the Martian Manhunter. That's bleh.
It's a bunch of
yes.
people.
Yeah, a bunch of fucking Firestorm. There we go. And Deadman is over there. Just a whole ton of characters.
Well, Dead Man's over there. Does that really count as a resurrection?
Well, true.
Mind blown.
Yes. But yeah, so this is just Blackest Night is a great comic. It's one of my favorite comics. I love Blackest Night. And the fact they got, after building up the whole thing of just death and horribleness, that they got to the end, and the White Lantern not only purified all the black rings away and saved the day, it actually resurrected all these beloved characters that people just had missed for so long and brought all these people. Although I remember reading that there were complaints at the time that came out that there were other characters that didn't get resurrected, but
Yep.
But either way, that's just so many Bobby characters resurrected in one shot there, and the fact that it was just the culmination of that whole arc, or at least that whole the book, the Blackest Night line itself, was just really, really well done, and I really enjoyed that group resurrection. That was a finale that all these people got to come back, and I thought it was a really cool way to end after the whole book was death, evil death, and light and living. It's like there's a great juxtaposition.
Didn't
So,
Voltaire write a song about that?
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, this has been the final countdown. I am James Phoenix.
Hey. What are you doing?
I'm ending the review, the video. What do you think I'm doing?
Not you.
And next month, we have...
I'll let you open the thing and I'll tell you. I don't have it in front of me. But in the meantime, does anybody have any honorable mentions?
Oh, I had one honorable mention of in Doctor Who, Rory, he dies like a whole bunch of times, and he's a funny character. But basically, the last time he comes back from death, I guess you could say, is that his wife joins him in death, and then they both come back together in the same place. So it's a kind of sweet. And
Okay.
So that was really cute.
Cool.
Because there's this whole, like, is she going to be with the doctor? Is she going to be with her husband kind of thing? And by her, like, accepting death and literally, like, trapping herself in the place with her husband, like, there's no chance. That's it. You're done.
Okay.
Nice.
And I know Mole mentioned the comic incarnation of it, but I'm going to throw an honorable mention to the version of Superman's resurrection in the Justice League movie, because I thought that was well done.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you bleed? You will. It's like, yeah, okay, he deserved that. Anyway, next month we're gonna be doing our top 5 copycat heroes.
Yep. And I was going to say honorable mention to Optimus Prime.
Yeah, that applies.
The only from the season 4, the original show, the only reason that didn't make my list is season 4 just wasn't enough to save it. So his resurrection meant nothing because most people forget about it or didn't watch it. Because season 3, after that horrible animated movie, kind of You know what I mean? Just kind of just made the series like people like, oh, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
So it wasn't enough. So it's like, oh, okay, his death was cool. 'Cause I was glad he came back, but then like that, I was like, oh, okay.
Fair enough. All right, so yes, Copycat Heroes will be next month. So that's basically heroes who are obviously based on other heroes. And we will definitely talk about them.
Woo!
And spoilers, my number one choice would be my DC Hero character, Birdman. Every now and again, they show the Birdman logo into the air.
Indeed.
I'm not going to tell you who he's a copy of, though.
That's
Watch
fair.
out for his Batarangs.
Yes. We'll see you next time, folks.
Bye.
Peace.